house. How you doing, family? As promised, I said I would be back today with another live. A great story we have today. I'm gonna wait till people come in because I'm quite sure there are people who are interested in the business from whether it's African Americans or those UK, whatever you want to call where you're from. But to get things started out, this is your man, not your boy. Go Black to Africa. So as people start to come in, I know it's early wherever you from, especially USA. It is about 8 a.m. So we're gonna sit here and everybody go ahead and yell out to where you're from. All right, Rhode Island is in the house. Good morning, Repat Journey. Yeah. Okay, we got 11, so we're gonna start to hit up right now. Good morning to those out there who are in the Western world. We are here, um, still in Kigali, right across from the Kigali Arena. And so we'll walk down here a little bit so y'all can see that. But we got a story right here today. One of our African American brothers right here who is a business owner here. And he's doing business and he has his story to share how business is here for him. And how he was able to acquire this spot here uh, in his business. And so it's been, has his successes, he has challenges and all that there. He's going to share. But good morning, family. Good morning as everybody come in. Good morning from France. All right, okay. France is in the house. Who else we got? Let me know where you all from. Holland's in the house. All right. Bomio. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and let the numbers step up a little more before we go ahead and get into our interview with our brother right here. For those who are familiar, is this Ramera? This is in the Ramera area, right here in Kigali. As you can see behind me, this is a Kigali Arena that was built a couple of years ago. We'll get into that. Some of the stories of when this building was built and all. North Dakota's in the house. Yeah. All right. We got 47 people. We're going to wait till we get about 100, bro. Oh, okay. Wait till we get 100 people. Yeah, because I know people, this is early morning, so people getting Stuttgart's in the house. Frank, okay. All right. Nottingham, UK in the house. We got brother Elite, H Elite. Yeah, Memphis in the house. Ali, Taj. Yeah. So I hope everybody's having a good day. I know it's Sunday out there in your country you are at. And so it's going to give it a little minute right here. I'm going to spin around and kind of give you all a feel. We out here in Kigali. My last day here with my family when we head out to Tanzania. We'll be flying out to Tanzania tomorrow. And so I know it's early. People probably sleeping on in. Yeah. Your English Cameroons. Good morning from France. All right. Okay. I'm going to give it a few more minutes. We're sitting on close to 50 almost here. I know it's early on Sunday morning. Everybody want to sleep in on that Sunday morning. 7 or so, 7, 8. Yeah, Easter. Yep. UK, London in the house. What's happening, James? Brooklyn in the house. Angela Williams. All right. Stockholm calling. Owie. All right. I know I messed that up. Let's go 100. Yeah, okay. All right. Good morning to you, your family from ATL. Kali. All right. We're sitting at 60. Sitting at 60 right here. Got a couple more, give it another minute or so, and then we're going to go ahead and get into this interview with our brother here. Ran across this brother who reached out to me. So, he wants to share his little experience here in, Kigali and being a businessman and all what he finds that is refreshing and challenging or what have you here in Kigali. So let's get into it, brother. All right. Let me see, the sun pointed that way. So we're gonna let you introduce yourself and all that right there.
fam. My name is Dave from Detroit and Harlem. Born in Detroit. Grew up back and forth from Harlem to Detroit. Been in Rwanda, Kigali, for about a year and a half here. And well, we've been doing it.
Just doing it, just doing it. Now, brother, man, you reached out to me, right? Because you wanted to share with people as a active business owner here in Kigali that there are things that you've experienced since you've been here. You have your successes, your challenges that you've been here, and you thought that people can even learn a little bit more about from you by being here a year and a half, or you say year and a half, right? And so we're gonna walk over here towards your spot that you have, but this right here is the center that he is in.
Yeah, it's a new development in trying to develop. The president wants to develop this area to sort of reflect the arena, and this is going to be the sports area. Actually, it's already a sports district, but he's going to expand the stadium over there. And so the arena is about a year and a half as well. We open about the same time. So the house over here, this used to be the red light district. So there used to be nothing but trash and things over here, but cleaning it up, and so it's doing good. Ramira, just so people know, I would say Ramira would be possibly the best local area, I would say. Not many expats. They stay over in Kimihura, Naitarama, Kibagabaga, and those areas which are not far from here. But I would say this is mainly the local area. Kimironko is just about 2 kilometers down the street. That's where it's like a famous Kimironko market. I don't even think it's 2 kilometers, maybe so. So this is very local. And I would say of the 9%, I would say maybe middle class, this would be like an area where a lot of them come.
A lot of them come, okay. So we're gonna walk over towards your business, brother, and then we're gonna have you here in a second. Give us an explanation of your business, how you got started and all. And so I should have mic'd you up. You was gonna be the first one I was gonna go ahead and put mic on, because you got the mic, but
Okay.
I got it out there in the car. But we're gonna go ahead and try to do as best as we can. But all right. So tell us, man, about the business that you started. Tell us a little bit about how you got into it.
Well,
So can you stand on this side right here? This is my mic side. So
mic side, okay.
yeah.
Just for a little background, I'm a business concept developer. So I for most of my abroad experience, and slowly trying to work my way into the land. It's been like 20 years. So I first started coming to Africa as a continent, but I have to say at that time it was a much bigger challenge than it is now. Now it's a little bit easier to start businesses, and that's one of the reasons I came to Kigali. It's a great advertising for starting a business. But my experience, I know you have to be careful because it's very rosy in the beginning. Like everyone probably knows, if you're researching about Kigali, you can start a business in a day.
Okay, yeah. Let's walk up inside here because people are saying it's a little noisy.
Oh, okay.
And so let's walk up in here because that traffic, we know that noise, that road noise is kind of loud. But so yeah, go ahead and repeat.
So you can start a business very easy. In fact, they encourage everyone to register a business before they give you any assistance.
Yeah.
Because they want that. I forgot. Is it 100 or 200? So they want that payment. So they want whether you're going to be successful or not. That's not their concern. But they getting that payment, that fee for registering the business. But you have to give it time, just to see. That is the easiest part. Now, once you decide on the business, that's where all of the trouble may lie. You so much that goes on here in regards to understanding the culture, and so that contributes a great deal when you when you start a business. But just so you know, Rwanda is a great infrastructure, but a lot of businesses, whether they're NGOs or whatever, they make this their base, okay? Because it's they say the word safe, but I use the word secure, meaning you'll see soldiers with guns walking around. You see that everywhere. So it might make you feel safe.
Yeah.
So I like to call it secure, you know. So, but for the business aspects, you have to look at 2% poor, 9% middle, 1% elite. What I mean by elite, they go to stadium events and everything. So when you're trying to if you're starting a local business where you're going to be open to the public, if you're not in the expat area, you're looking at a real challenge. Because to be honest, in the other areas, people don't have much money to support your business.
So you were sharing with me that you were showing me your menu because you off the beaten path in a sense from where all the money is, basically. You're where most of the average Rwandans are, and you have this gaming center. And so you were, but you also sell drinks, and all that because you're right across the street from the sports arena. And anybody knows coming from America knows those are the hot spots. Right, if you get a spot outside of an arena, you on fire. And you said that most people can't even afford to go over to that arena.
The people around it, don't have any money. The people walking up the block. So on this side of town, beers are, what's the equivalent American? Let's say 70 cents.
Beers are 70 cents here.
Okay. But if you go right around the corner where you meet the main road in the roundabout there, it goes up to about $1, which is a big jump.
Yeah.
But here it's like I would say the buffets are 2,000 less.
$2.
$2.
Yeah.
Over in this area, which is awesome. But back on the business quickly, is one thing you notice, not a lot of things are produced here. So you have to really think. I say either you go small and local and not expect a lot of revenue for maybe years to come, or you go big. Because I looked into a lot of different industries. I meet with the RDB.
Hey, she means it. Is that her? That's your employee? Yeah.
Yeah, I meet with the RDB, asking what industries they need. And they give a lot of feedback. Entertainment is one of them. And so I remember them asking if I could build an amusement park. And I was not Disney. Who can do that? But this is sort of an entry point to test the market here. But a lot of people, a lot of foreigners who come, they end up doing sort of like consulting. I would say it's a big industry, because if you're not manufacturing maybe on a bigger scale, you either go small or you go big. It's not a lot of in between. So you have to think like that. Corporations are here, NGOs are here, but for just the average small investor, you want to get in the country, you might want to go the small local route, but it's a hard sell. Because like the shop here I have, it's I would say it's a basic beginner's Dave and Buster's. So that's the concept. Basically food, drinks, music, games, but much about things, let's say 2000.
Right.
So if I have like Pac-Man all the way up to, I don't know, Tekken or Street Fighter, they're not that familiar with it. They want the PS4.
Yeah.
They want the FIFA. In fact, I would say 98%. It's Africa. They want football.
They want football.
So they're coming here, and so I'm here. So the stadium is there, football's there. They can come here and play on the screen. The arena is there, basketball there. They can come and play NBA 2K or whatever.
Yeah.
So this is just an entry into the local fabric of Kigali. and not too much of a pain for starting up. The challenge does come working with the local businesses, carpenters, and like I don't know anyone here. You know, you started from scratch, so it's hard to get them to do the things you want. I mean, that's what I do for a living, so you know, I know how to design everything. I just need someone to build it.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the challenge. And there's a lot of taxes. You gotta pay taxes for stickers, taxes for this. The village tax, I pay trash tax, I pay a security tax, I pay it's just little tax here and there.
Is it really expensive, or is it something you
No,
can?
I mean it does add up.
Right.
Let's say for local currency, it starts adding up. So, you know, it's that imbalance here, meaning the rent here for Kigali. I mean, it's some places it's equivalent to U.S. rent. And especially in Rwanda, where they have the KBC in Kigali Heights, 76 square meters. Now I'm losing my square footage.
Yeah.
76.
I don't know,
I
brother.
forgot the square footage, but basically, that'll run you about $2,000 US for not that big of a place. So it gets really expensive, and so it's not balanced. It's like, you know, the employees make a low wage. You have to charge low prices for food.
Yep.
Unless, like I said, you're in an expensive area, you can jack up your prices because you have different clientele.
Okay, so here's the big questions, because I know everybody's interested in this right here. All right, you mentioned about starting up a business. It's not too much red tape or bureaucracy starting up a business.
No.
Okay.
I would say that's the easiest part. Let me see if I can remember. There's a few pieces you can searching, you're not quite sure. You write a little letter saying you're here to start a business, this is the area you're in. You submit that with a one-page application. The fee, like I said, I can't remember the fee. It's
Yeah.
$100 or $200 US equivalent. And what else is it?
So let me ask you this right here then. So, okay, all right, so the process is pretty easy, getting your business started and all right there. Now to up the capital, starting up, you say you can start small, and for the most part, you are able to go ahead and trying to get yourself set in, get the business growing, and it don't take a lot of capital.
Right. Let's just say if you're somebody who want to be on the ground, and I call the ground meaning a local business, you know, food, something fun,
A bar.
yeah, something like that. Because golly, it doesn't move without a bar. I mean,
Right.
The drinks are cheaper than the food.
Right.
You know, so people drink beer instead of eating.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you come in with 10K,
Yeah.
you can open a local business.
That's what people want to know. How much would it possibly cost to start up again?
Yeah, because, you know, if you're in the local area. Now, Kimmy, now you have to think about it. If your patrons are going to be expats, they expect a little bit more.
Right.
You know, so you got to add in more fixtures, more expensive tables. So, you know, it goes up where you want. But I'm talking about a business that caters to locals. Expats don't come here. This is made for locals.
The locals.
And I'm in the local area.
Right.
So when people are talking about Kigali, they're sort of reporting from that expat bubble.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
And that's that might be deceiving to a lot of people because that looks good.
Yeah.
You know, it looks really good over there. But
Which is one reason why you want to reach out to me. You reached out to me because you wanted to give a different report that you are basically within the locals, have a business within the locals outside of the expat areas that may generate more dollars for you, but you with the locals to where it's a total different ball game. Total different ball game.
Total different. You have to like I sell hot dogs because people wait for the stadium. You know, like street food, you're not allowed to have street food here. So I kind of sell street food, but on the inside.
On the inside. You can't be out on the street.
Affordable. So you have to design, like I sell Rolexes. Rolex is basically like a grilled egg and
roll it up.
Things like from Uganda. So you got to be creative with what you do. And those things are under $2. So
Yeah.
the locals have no problem coming here.
Can you show us your menu that you have? Because I think people need to see that, you know,
Yeah.
prices are different wherever you go, just like over in America.
Right. This is snacks. So, most businesses here, you have to have more
Can you open that up?
than
That's
one
kinda low.
area. Okay?
Yeah.
So here you'll see a clothing shop with copy machines. You'll see hair salons and they're selling clothes. So you sort of got to hit them with different areas and not just focus on one, unless you are food. But the turnover here is incredible. Because I know that there's a lot of probably first-time business starters here, local or expat. Like all the businesses that are next to me, they're all new. So the ones that started a little after me, they're all closed. So it's like that 9-month, 1-year turnover. So
Is that because of COVID that people are turning over
of course
business?
that had a big part of it, but in general, that's how it is here anyway.
Okay.
Like I said, it's just not enough. People with disposable income here.
Yeah.
They're trying to survive. They drink milk.
We went. My wife had us go to. My wife went over to a milk bar yesterday.
Yeah, milk, but it does the body good. So
I don't know about that, but
right, for survival.
Survival, yeah.
When you pass the survival mode, you're probably not drinking it. But
right
over here, that's what keeps them going.
That keeps them going. They drink that milk.
And that's kind of the tradition, I guess. Nomadic people coming in the area. Everybody travels with the cow, but so it's not a lot of revenue in the local area for certain things. People spend a lot at bars. Man. My background, I'm Pan-African. Been that way for about 30 years. In the States, even my first degree is African Studies way back in the early 90s when I remember you couldn't get a job if you had dreads.
Yeah, I remember that days.
Those days. So, there's no job market. All those mentors when they were still alive. All those names that people look up on the internet, I was, sort of like, they're all my uncles. And so, I became very militant and just knew from day one that either uprising or escape to freedom.
Yeah.
So I had two options. So I escaped, and it was about, I would say first trip was in the 90s. And I got into a little trouble because I was too militant in South Africa. And because South Africa at that time probably was like 19...
Getting heated up,
Yeah.
And then you left and you came to Africa back in what year?
I officially left, so I'm in New York, 9/11 happened, I left a week later. So, I resigned everything, I was in Harlem, I teach in my neighborhood, I was a member of the New Panther Party there. I had passed away during that time, so I had to step up. After 9/11, packed up my bags, left my apartment, I left everything.
Yeah.
Ended up in Senegal, that's how I lived in Senegal and Gambia, in villages over there. Kyle like Medina, shout out. In fact, that's who gave me my name, Sheikh Hassan Sisi over in Senegal.
So let me interrupt you real quick because of those who are joining in, someone's asking what type of businesses you have. He has you describe the type of business that you run. Is this your first business venture here in Rwanda?
In Rwanda, yeah.
Okay, so share with the people the type of business you have here.
All right, so this is a concept I developed. It's sort of like a game lounge. So anyone from the States probably heard of Dave & Buster's. So it's a mini test version of that, meaning it's drinks, it's food, it's a bar, it's just a hangout, you can play games and everything, but you really have to test the market because they're not familiar with what an arcade is. So I was bringing in the arcade games, but you're going to find out if you're doing any business where you need to import, that is the most expensive thing in the world, trying to import products that are already put together. So if you're bringing in parts and pieces and you want to manufacture, the taxes are lower. But I brought in something and my taxes were 49% of what I paid. So if you can imagine, you spend like 2,000, what your tax is gonna be at that like. So
Yeah,
it's
800.
difficult
Yeah.
to get stuff here that you need to build. If you're interested in manufacturing anything.
So now, where did you get all your equipment and things from? Did you bring?
China.
You bought
Yeah.
things from China.
Yeah, because I'm familiar with China. That's where I was most of my time.
Okay.
And so use my connects to get stuff from China, have stuff built in China. The rest is here. The only thing I got made in China was the arcade game pieces because I couldn't bring in the big arcades stands. It cost too much. So the next thing is to get the hard drive with all the games and everything and feature that. But all of that doesn't matter because all they want to play is PS4 and FIFA here.
Is this flourishing business here? I mean, there's people really interested into this type of business? And question is asked: is it profitable for you?
I would say it takes time for growing, but I would say now after a year it's pretty popular. And if I ever get an event at the arena, of course, it's shut down for a year for COVID.
Right.
So that's my ticket. So
Right.
as soon as there's an event, I can't handle it.
Right.
I have to get friends to help immediately. Like I have like 4 staff, but on that day we're all going crazy because they love to drink, they love to have a good time. And so if you focus on that, because there's not a lot of entertainment. It's just a bar, and then you go to another bar the next night, and another bar. It's not a lot of entertainment. I mean, you can travel, tourism, things like that. Well, I would say a bar is their main source of entertainment.
Yeah, that was one of the ideas that I had. Is I noticed that in Ghana when I was there, that man, it was a couple places that had only one pool table, and the amount of people around that pool table wanting to play pool just blew my mind. I said, man, because when you think about it, there is not a lot of going out and entertainment when it comes to, people leaving, outside of their house to have functions like, pool tables and darts and ping pong tables. I haven't seen a lot of recreational type businesses that are around. Is there a lot around here like that?
I don't like. I mean, it's so wide open. If you have the revenue to support the learning curve here, because you gotta. I mean, if you go to a place and they're not used to having anything, you have to teach them to want that. You have to really sell it.
Yeah.
And so, man, I tell people if like a miniature golf.
Yeah.
I mean, the things we take for granted.
Yeah.
Or a throwback.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, look at this. Man,
Oh,
I
yeah.
have grown men competing over Connect 4.
Checkers, they play a lot. I've seen them checkers, but it's big time with the bottle caps.
They so starving for something.
Yeah.
That it doesn't matter what it is. You take it for granted. I mean, you wouldn't think like me and you would get into Connect 4.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I'm telling you. I mean, and it's from different, because my place is sort of a meeting ground for Africans in the diaspora in the continent.
Yeah.
Go here from Nigeria, Cameroon, like everyone ends up finding this place. Because I think a game center, is pretty common in other areas of Africa, but not really here.
Okay.
But it's like what you were saying, there's a few, but they're at those sort of high-end bars.
Right.
It's a couple of places there, but it's not a lot. Very repetitive, redundant. You see the same thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Don't overthink it. If you go really basic, you can start up something.
Okay.
Introduce them to a new food, something like I sell hot dogs.
Yeah.
That's new.
Yeah.
And so they're eating up the hot dogs, and so it really is having experience. I wouldn't advise it for someone who doesn't have any experience at all unless you have money to burn.
So one of the questions is, are you looking for any investors?
Well, actually, I'm always looking for partners. I hate doing stuff by myself.
Right.
My original plan is to go back to Ethiopia, and that's where I was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But they have some political issues because I was doing, crops and land there for farming. I was trying to get African Americans take their capital, you know, and come on over, and it can work wonders.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember in Ethiopia, the land, I forgot how many acres it was equivalent to, but the government was giving away incentives. It'd be like $20 a year for like equivalent to like maybe 10 acres. You rent land, you know, you can't own land.
Right.
You know, it's rent. And can you imagine $20, $30 renting land? You know, that's how it was at the time, but so I had to leave there, and so I found out about Kigali and came here. But I'm always looking for partners in different ventures. My specialty is fast casual dining, so I create food concepts. That's what I did most of the time in Asia. But here is a bigger challenge at the moment.
Okay.
But I think it's steadily growing. You just gotta wait it out, and that's the hardest thing. A lot of people don't make it. They might be just about to turn the corner.
Yeah.
And they have to give up. So.
Okay. All right. Well, now let's talk about. I'm gonna put this tripod down. If my brother can kind of let us in there for real quick, and we're gonna have some question and answers, and then we can go from there. But let me sit this down.
Yes, sir.
All right. So yeah. The light source, and I'll sit right here.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna let some of you all ask some questions and all that right there for our brother Zaid, right?
Yeah, Zaid. And one more thing, they might have seen a missing TV.
One of the challenges, because that was a question.
Right. I mean, I'm in the local area.
Mm-hmm.
It was a burglary right across the street from the stadium where they have a security booth. They're not looking out. They might be eating donuts. It's no different. Cops, security everywhere. Whatever. So they come in through the ceiling, stole a laptop, stole a TV. And since this is like a strip, they went into everyone's shop.
And stole something?
Yeah. So this was just a few days ago.
Days ago, okay.
So that's the reality of being on the ground, maybe in a real just basic local area. It's just like the States. It's back home. It's in the hood. It's except there's no one can own a gun here.
Yeah.
So and that's another area is the crime. I do want to be honest. It's crime comes in various forms. When they talk about statistics, there's murder, there's assault, there's theft, there's burglary. Okay, murder, nah, unless a soldier shoots someone for running.
Almost unheard of.
Right, But on the back streets, if you're a local Rwanda, they're not gonna talk about it. I'll talk about it. I don't mind. People's houses get broken into every day. That's the nature of the game. I mean, it's the environment. People are struggling, and that's what you get when people struggle. I mean, everybody knows that who lives in cities, major cities. So, it is what it is. You just don't be walking down the street thinking it's la la land.
So some people are having an idea that you basically kind of shedding a light maybe on some hardships that you're dealing with, but I don't think I'm getting that from you. I think you're kind of educating people on, starting a business, maybe some challenges you deal with, but are you, this adventure that you went on here, I mean, is it beneficial for you, or you enjoy it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have that sort of emotional duality, positive, negative, positive. Yeah. For me, it is what it is. I just talk about it.
Such is life.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, you want to know some good things? I tell you, like, I live for $500 a month, because I live in the local area. I could boost that up to a G if I move down the block. My rent, it's like $250, I'm chilling. I don't do the whole maid and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I wash my own clothes, I cook my own food and all that. So that's what I'm saying. For $500, that's when you're here a while, you can decide how you want to live. Because, man, just because Kigali is small. If you walk a mile one direction, you can end up paying $1,200, $1,500, or $2,000 for your monthly expenses if you wanted to.
If you wanted to.
You know, but if you don't want to, I got my little 1-bedroom apartment. It's just me here, you know, because I mean, I do it for a living, so I'm kind of transit, and so things don't bother me as much. I just know what it is, and you know, I could talk about it. It doesn't bother me much. I separate myself from the emotion. I mean, I've been living abroad for half my adult life. I mean, I've been in every situation, lived in 10 different countries. So if you let that bother you, then maybe living abroad is not for you.
Right.
So,
Now, how many African countries have you been to?
Well, traveling is probably around 7, but living 4, just Senegal, Gambia, Ethiopia, and Rwanda.
Oh, what's the 4?
Senegal and Gambia on the west, and Rwanda and Ethiopia.
Which one you find probably most interesting, or as a businessman, connects well with you?
You know, I mean, is Ethiopia, so I prefer them.
Okay.
But it's kind of shaky when you're trying to deal with investors. You know, I want to get other people involved.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
something is not stable, I don't want to bring in people's money.
Yeah.
You know, and the East is more tribal, so
Mm-hmm.
you get a lot of that. The West is
More
it's
Western.
the same marketplace when we were kidnapped.
Yeah.
The coast is just one marketplace. You know, they want your money. They smile. They know what to say. You know, the West is just a little bit more market.
You know what I say? I say West is more tribal and the East is more Western.
Really?
I see more on the west coast of Africa. You know, you have the Madinkas and
Well,
the
here's the
Asantes
thing.
and all those out there. You know,
Well, what unifies them more on that side? Islam.
and
It's
probably
not as
get
much
more,
as that.
not as much as out here.
Religion on that side kind of smooths that out a little bit
Yeah,
versus, you know, like in Kenya, the tribes, in Ethiopia, the tribes, like, you know, or the nation. I call it the nations, not the tribes. But I know what you're saying, though.
Yeah,
Definitely,
yeah.
you can see them more. You see the hustle. You see them in it's kind of
You see
because
the-
they all look different.
You see the attire.
Right.
You see more of the
It's more
traditional
traditional.
cookings.
Right.
You see that. For me, I find
Right.
that on the West.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But for more conflict on the West Coast, I would definitely say it's always the Christians versus the Muslims. Go to Nigeria, it's Christians versus Muslims. Go to Cameroon, Christians versus Muslims. They may use other
Those
things.
couple countries, yeah, they sometimes have some
You know,
clashes. Yeah.
But here, they seem to respect the religion a little bit more. That's not in the forefront for the beef.
Yeah.
The beef is, you know, my nation versus your nation, and who has political power,
Yeah,
who has
yeah.
economic power. But,
Okay.
you know,
okay.
it's so huge. It's hard to bring it all together, and that's another thing. It's just I hate using the word Africa because for me that's a bit disrespectful. It's like me using the word Asia. Like I lived in Japan, China, Korea. They don't have nothing to do with each other.
Right.
You know, I want to give African countries their respect.
Mhm.
You know, each country is their own thing.
Mhm.
You know, even though from my, you know, descendant of Africa growing up in America, African American, we like that unity. Like I want all Africa to be together. But when you get here, I meant the African frame of reference. We used to say there's a European frame of reference and African. No. Africa has about 1,000 different frame of reference. Like in Ethiopia is nothing like a Nigerian.
Yeah.
Somebody from, you know, Morocco is nothing like Zambia. Like,
Totally different flavors. Yeah.
yeah. So you got to respect each country for what it is and just hope that maybe they can do.
Let me ask you this right here, because you know, hey, go black to Africa, right? And you've been in 4 countries. What words you got to say to the brothers and sisters in the diaspora, about coming to visit Africa? And I'm gonna ask you a question that I'd never give an answer to, but if a person wants to come to Africa for the first time, do you have any recommendations of West Africa, any certain country, East Africa, and you know, should the brothers and sisters come visit?
When you say the word visit, absolutely. You have to visit, okay? Now, when you're talking about living, that takes on a personality of its own. It depends on the person you are. But I do know 2 distinctions. Women have a different perspective
You better believe it.
when it comes to evaluating places to live, definitely.
That's why my wife is very important in this process I'm in.
Because, for example, safety number 1, you would probably be in Rwanda.
Yeah.
For the moment, because I know some inside information, things may not always be that way. But for now, and that's important to women. When I first started, safety wasn't on my list.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm a guy, I come from the hood, I come from, like, every place is safer than the D, you know? And so I'm like, whatever. But then as you get older, you realize, oh, safety is very important, especially if you got a family. So that's what I'm saying. You're a solo traveler, as a female or male, whatever, you have a different experience than someone with a family.
Yeah.
So that's very important. But if you're a soloist, do it. Come visit, and see if it's right for you. Do not be fooled by the cosmetics of each country, because that's part of the advertisement. And I would say, you know, Kigali is one of the best for advertising, probably behind Ghana. Only second to Ghana for advertising, like, come.
Yeah.
It's a great place, you know, but give it time. I would say it takes 6 months to actually know. So you might want to do that, you know, if you can get that 3-month visa for certain things, leave and come back another 3. I'm telling you, it takes time. Don't be fooled by that first 30 days or even the first 3 months. You know,
And so he wanted to tell a story, family, that he felt that there are some messages out there that people are sharing maybe one side of the picture, that you know, that things are all great on the surface when you drive on main drags or show, you know, certain types of living, and yet he wanted to chime in on one, being a business owner here, as well as knowing the differences in what goes on in different sides of town, whether it's a local or whether it's on the side where it is the expats. And that expat is just not brothers and sisters he's not talking either. He's talking about just foreigners coming in, you know, who's coming in. Even though I know we aren't foreigners, we're really coming back to our motherland. But, you know, just sharing that story, like you said, you know, hey, there's a different side of that story. Like you said, you shared some challenges with somebody burglarized your business. There is crime that goes on here, just like anywhere else. You know, there are challenges when it comes on a business. It's not a smooth sailing. You know, that some may make it seem that it's all smooth sailing. You start a business, it's all good. But we all know who knows business. It takes time. You said that 1,000 already. It takes time. You said that.
But I consult people on business, and you have to at least be prepared to pay 6 months for everything. Rent, employees. If you can't pay 6 months, you don't have that saved up, then don't even start a business.
Gotta have that capital. Gotta have that capital.
Yeah, don't even try it.
Yeah.
And but you know, one thing I did want to say is,
Well, before you go there, because I don't think I probably interjected
Okay.
about them. You said number one, they should come back to visit.
right.
And then the second part of that question was, you know, is there any place that you would say that maybe one first-time visitor to come check out any particular country that you've been to? You've been to 4.
Right. To be honest, for an intro, I would say Kigali. It's a great intro.
Why?
You know, your first trip to Africa, you come to Kigali Airport, it's pleasant. It's small, it's walkable to me. You know, I like to walk. For those that like to walk, you can get to every area you need to, you know, walking. And to me, that's important when you first arrive, because you don't know how to tell directions in that language. If you don't speak, you know, the local language, sometimes they may not speak English, or you know, if you speak French, that works in some countries, but it's walkable. It's pleasant. When you see the security on the street, that might make you feel, first, if you're not used to seeing people with machine guns, that might trip you out for a minute, but then you learn to kind of appreciate that, like, you know, nothing's popping off, you know, and so you might appreciate seeing that. Let me think, what else? I think that it's kind of friendly.
So you saying Kigali should, in your opinion, would be a great start?
For a start.
For a start, maybe.
Yeah.
And but that's because of the security, walkability, and me and the benefits of, in my opinion, if one is looking for reconciliation in self or amongst a family, or, you know, this would be a great place to come to, because they're operating in that fashion.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I got to be honest.
Hey, this is what this is about. Be honest.
And they know because see, I know the locals and my staff, and they talk to me. And there's a difference between talking to your maid, your cook, your driver, your guard. They're gonna smile, and they're not gonna say anything that bothers them. But there's a great deal of control here, and so you have to be careful what you say, and you kind of have to follow along with it. And instead of going too deep, that's all I'll say for this particular thing. But it's not all, with the background here. Everyone knows about the genocide. There are some things that, maybe we'll talk about that on a different platform.
Hey, brother,
but,
whatever. Yeah.
Just to touch on it on paper, like a lot of places, it looks good, but it's still there. And it goes by generation. The older generation are a certain way, just like every place else. But the younger generation, I would say, are what they call just Rwanda. They're not really, that tribal separation until they go home, and then their grandparents are there telling them.
Old schools of thought.
Right.
Old schools of thought.
So, humanity here, really focus on that a lot, and to each his own. And that's part of, because remember, this is an NGO place. In fact, if you have an NGO, don't come here. I think they turning away.
Explain what NGO to the people are.
Just a nonprofit institutions, charities, anything you want to do to help them, whether it's in every industry, ICT or agriculture or any sort of training or humanitarian, whatever. They have enough of that. They want you to build some businesses. But with the NGOs comes sometimes a lot of Christianity, I would say. There's a lot of Christian organizations here.
I was surprised though, brother.
7-day Adventists too.
Okay.
Out of that here, I was shocked.
I was surprised. Here today is Sunday.
Right.
And I didn't see what I'm accustomed to seeing. People walk into churches. I don't hear any of the over the microphone out in the community.
Right.
I haven't seen any of that where when I was on the West, everybody's dressed up like even when America back in the day was you dressed up, you go to church, you ever got the gear.
Well, isn't that weird that they're the same as like West Africa? The stuff we're doing in the States, it's still in our genes naturally. Yeah. So it's funny. That connects with us much more. The East is much different. Different. Because one of the big things I always say, the cutoff line might be the Congo, okay, between East and West, okay. And everyone knows the West personality is much more aggressive. The East, they are very quiet. And Rwanda might be leading the way.
Very reserved,
This would be, I call this the Asia of Africa. By living, I didn't know that. Living in Asia all the time will prepare me for here. Because they keep a lot of stuff inside. And that's part of that reconciliation. Don't let out the anger. I'm kind of militant, so I'm a bit aggressive. So, if you get into a fight here, you're going to jail. You can't. So there's a lot of disrespect, cultural things that are disrespectful to me. Coming from where I'm from. But I can't do anything about it because I didn't make it out of the States and be old as hell and come to Africa and get put in jail. Like, how stupid was that? So,
well, jokingly, it's funny because, I had a nightmare for rental cars. 2 rental cars I had. One of the rental cars, right? You already know what I went through. So, the first rental car was just the permeation of the gas and it was leaking. We found out that was inside. So I called the guy back. He brought another car, and then there was an infestation of roaches in the car, right? But then, when I was asking for my money back, it was like, he was trying to give me, this little slide. He didn't want to refund the money all right there. So he came with a guy, right? So I just said, yo, if you want to get my money back, I'll tell you what. This is what I said to him, right? Did I tell you that?
No.
I told him, I said, you know what? How about you and your man take me on, and we just fight it out?
See, That's what I'm saying. Right?
And they was like, huh?
Right.
And so the guy where I was staying in the compound was a security guy. And so I went to the security guy. I said, hey, yo, would it be all right if I take on these 2 guys? And he said, you take on the 2 guys? I said, oh, yeah, they lightweight. I said, because the dude don't want to get my money back. And so jokingly, he laughed at me.
Right.
But the guys, because I was just showing them, like, yo, man, I deserve my money back. My wife and my daughter, they were sick because of the smells of the fumes. And then all of a sudden, we drive in the car, and then my wife noticed there's some stuff on her by her feet, and I'm talking literally infested. Back seat, front seat, and I went out the store to get spray. So anyway, I just said to the guys, let's just handle it like men. This is what we do. Yo, you don't want to get my money back? I take on you, and I take on you. And I told the security, that he was like, for real? He gave me that look like, but I understand what you're saying is that there's a lot held in. There's not much conflict and stuff like that. And the brothers, they gave me my money back. And I didn't get irate and all that with them, but I just wanted to challenge them because, like we said, that old militant came out of me. It was like, yo, we can handle it like men if you want to. And make it fair. It'd be y'all 2 against me.
Right. No, I mean, really. I mean, I'm saying it's like this.
But I didn't cross the line.
But you have to know that it's weird. It's like, so if someone comes and they snatch your phone.
Yeah.
But you fast. You run up to them and grab them. And if you beat the hell out of them, you go to jail.
Go to jail.
It's like, what?
Yeah. So it's just a different way of how they handle their laws.
Right. No placing hands.
No placing hands.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's kind of tough. You can't get into any scuffle. So you have to swallow it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have that kind of temperament, I'm just, certain things that are disrespectful, they're just not disrespectful here, because it's sort of like, if there's no consequences for anything you do, then nothing's really disrespectful.
Right. Yeah.
If I just walk all over your foot and just whatever, nobody can.
Right.
Stop, so it's the same way in Asia. I learned it, and so it's not. That's what I'm saying. I'm glad I had outside experience with the other 60% of the planet. That they are. Whether it's India up in there, and so
that's why I said that this whole mentality change of reconciliation with oneself. Mm-hmm. That it don't have to be about the aggression. It don't have to be about conflict. It don't have to be about that. Okay, yeah, So then when you come across some behaviors and mannerisms or mentality, we can learn from it.
Right.
Coming from America.
Because from the States, we got a lot in us that we don't even know.
A lot.
Compared to other places where somebody they're not at war.
Right.
Mentally, whatever. War isn't placed upon people everywhere.
Yeah.
So people can be. They can hunger. That's what I said. I mean, like you could be like 40 years old, and like Japan and be at Disney World with the Mickey Mouse ears.
Yeah.
And it's cool. But that's corny to me.
Right. Yeah.
You grow up, you're like 9, 10 years old, you're already expected to know the streets and to know everything. So, it helps not being in a peaceful place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally different than I was before I left a long time ago. I'm no longer, I would say, an American, and I noticed that when I talk to Americans.
Wow, that's awesome.
Wow, you're really American. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you didn't know it until you're separated from it.
Right.
And some of your natural instinct that you lost during the slave trade, enslavement of it, like it'll come back naturally. Being around the rest of the planet, especially cultural places.
That's powerful what you just said, man.
I didn't go to Europe. I went to places where tradition and culture is. India, China, Japan, Africa, everywhere. They still have their family unit intact. They still have their names. It's stuff you gotta kick it with the local people. And that's what I wonder how many people actually do that. Like I said, step outside of your security guard mate and all that.
Yep.
And I spent a lot of time talking to those Rwandans who grew up in Burundi, Uganda, and they're coming back now.
Yeah.
And they have lots of trouble here because it's sort of like their personality here sort of depressed a little. But as soon as they go to another African country, they come back, their personalities are exploding.
So family, I hope y'all caught what he just said. You realize that you're not even American. you can recognize those who are American or coming from America because of that washing away, the layers of being ripped away from your mindset or the way that you used to conduct yourself or do business. That you see a difference now in how you are than those who are we call green or fresh, fresh meat coming in into a continent.
Right. Because I didn't even know that America had an American culture because we think we're so international and it's a melting pot until, I would say it takes, because I tried to study all these things, like how long does it take for you to shed what you were, And I don't know, maybe 6, 7 years. If you spend a long time outside of there and then you go back and you be like, man, everybody thinks the same way. Everybody acts the same way, and you didn't notice it before,
You didn't notice it.
But wow, it's huge. But like I said, you're unconsciously watching, being with, talking to the rest of the planet, and there's the planet is so similar. Family, tradition, behavior, all these little key things. It's a lot more things that hold people together than it does separate them. And when you lost it, and you get some of that back, then it's just like, wow. So it's almost like I'm whole again.
Yeah.
And another thing I wanted to say about coming to the continent. If you're coming and you just want a nice house, the cheap labor, you don't care about the people who are there, think about how you feel when foreigners come from other countries and they come to your neighborhood, set up a business, don't care nothing about you. They got a fat house and they talk about how great your city is, and you sitting on that side of town like, man, it's fucked up here. Like, why are they thinking America's so great? So that's kind of people come to some African countries and they only report the good, but they don't see how much other people are suffering. And so you got to report that as well. If you care, if you have some humanness about you. But if you just want a big house, if you just want beauty, if you want to exploit cheap labor, then do what you do.
Wow.
That's what's here.
Wow. And so, that's one of the reasons why I'm very cautious in really my approach to selecting a home base.
Right.
Because it's one of those things that what my brother's saying right here, Zaid is saying is that you can get caught up in it. And I'm gonna give you an example. People talk about corruption in Africa, right? And when I was in Kenya, they told us we had to go get our COVID test at this one hospital. We get there and everything, and the place is closed. They said, no, not today, not today. We had to rush over to another hospital. But now we was on time because we had to take a 5-hour drive up to the safari, right? So now we get there to the other hospital and it's a mess load of people there. Now, our driver told us, he said, let me go talk to the guy. He went to talk to the guy, right? And he came back and said, yo, pay him $1,000, he put you in front of the line. Now what decision you make? Am I gonna be part of the corruption? Am I gonna pay this money to go ahead of the line like some people do who's got the means and jump the line and go? And so these are some things that you really have to think about, and I'll be honest with my family. I paid the man $1,000 or $1,000, which was only
what's that?
Oh my goodness, I just forgot the shillings all of a sudden. It's like somebody help me out. Yeah, something like that. $5, $10, I think it is. $10. $10, I think it is. I can't remember. But anyway, pressed for that time and all that right there. And when I did it, when we got on the road and all that, I said, Dad, go on. No, it wasn't $100. It wasn't $100. It was $10. Because I was like, dang, okay. So, yeah, somebody said $9. But we got on the road and I think about it. And I said, Dad, go on. I became probably one of the problems. That I used my means to be able to get in front. And this is what you're saying is that, yeah, you can come here for cheap labor, and one thing I can't stand when they call them boys, the servant boys, the boys' houses and stuff.
Real estate description says a 4-bedroom house, 3-bathroom with a servant's quarter.
Servant quarter. Servant's
Or
quarter.
a boy included or something.
Yeah.
And that's a real estate ad. Like, come on, and it's funny how, the people don't know. Before the term slavery was applied only to us, Africa hasn't changed. This was what slavery, right. This is what slavery used to be in Africa. But now we call it servants because slavery is applied to us, meaning it's a beast of burden. That's what slavery is. But you can keep your name. You can go home on the weekends. You get food. Sometimes you get money. But you're living in an outhouse. That's the old school slavery throughout the world, But what happened to us was so horrendous, it took the term slavery and all these other terms, because it wasn't just being enslaved, it was murder, rape, genocide, spiritual degradation, everything. So, but that, me on top, you on the bottom, if you like that, then that's cool. But if you have trouble with that, then it might not be for you, because you'll see some stuff here and you'll be like, man, that's messed up the way they treat each other. But it's those on the top, those on the bottom. And in fact, we're here with Hutu and Tutsi. And for people who don't know, those weren't tribes. They were titles basically at one point. Those on the top, those on the bottom. And so
basically exploited by the Europeans.
Yeah.
So, but thank goodness that everybody's in oneness as far as concerned to call themselves Rwandans instead of his other
young
names.
People. The young people.
So, well, you've been here, so you probably know a whole lot more stories than we know.
Yeah, we can get into it.
Because you said his employees are Rwandans, and also he meet people and stuff. So, but I really don't even want to get into that subject.
Right. We do that when we both fly out. We can do that.
Yeah, because with respect, I respect this country.
Right.
I respect, like I said, y'all. Anybody know Paul Kagame? President Paul Kagame. Excuse me. I want to interview him because I believe that he is one of the keys to self-hate and bringing one into for one aspect. Not everybody gonna be on board, and not everybody want to be there. But we know Al Sharpton's and the Jesse Jackson's ain't did it. We know that Jam Master, Grandmaster Jay. We know that a lot of the ones we hold near and dear who was prolific. The Malcolm X's and the Martin Luther Kings and all of them, have done their work, their job to bring a freedom, and nothing has happened. So
he's got a big burden, and he's doing the best. I'd say he's doing the best he can for being a small country. He can't compete with the Tanzanians, the Kenyans, and Ethiopia for land space. So that's why he went to Europe. Not to Europe. I'm sorry, Asia for Singapore and Hong Kong. Those are two small. They're like city states or city countries, where So he's making this sort of tourism luxury because he can't do, the agriculture, the big farming, and all that. So if you're looking for luxury, you can find quite a bit of that here. This will eventually, I would say, from the States, it would be like the Manhattan of Africa. Eventually, that's the direction it's going, and it will be a playground for the other diaspora and African community, for folks all over Africa. They'll come here because it's safe, it's luxury, some stuff. So he's building that route. But when you go that route, there are some shortcomings that happen because you got to sacrifice some stuff in order to build the arenas, to get the foreign money to come in, do concerts,
which creating jobs for the people, creating jobs.
So that's the route he's going. And who's to say if he's he's done the best he can.
I love what he's done.
Got a big burden, man. It's tough,
especially at that level. That level, and dealing with what you had to deal with. I tell you, my hat's off to all the Rwandans, as well as their leader, President Paul Kagame. People can say whatever they want. They got your own opinions, but hey, my feet is on the ground. I see, and like yourself, you lived here.
Right.
You're living here, and so it is what it is. But hey,
a great place to start.
He says a great
for me, number one for starting.
Hey,
because you probably want to land in a capital city. when you go somewhere, you probably want to go to the capital first, maybe unless you know someone or you're very, exploring person, but otherwise you want to, because when you land, anyone's familiar with Africa, when you land in the typical capital city, you immediately see the chaos that a big capital city brings.
And you might be,
But you'll see immediately when you're here, it's very peaceful for a capital city. Remind, it's a capital city, but it functions like a nice little suburb.
Small town.
Kind of weird.
Exactly. You couldn't have said any better.
It's kind of weird like that. It's cool. So get your feet wet and use this as maybe a base for exploring other places. Yeah, definitely. I would say here. Like I said, I haven't seen everywhere, but as far as I know from talking to the African community that comes here from different places, that's what I'm here. It's a bit boring, but you might want to appreciate that when you get here. You don't want too much jumping off.
Yeah.
But you learn to appreciate that, and you can just kick back for a minute.
So with that, family, hey, we want to go ahead and just thank you all for just joining in. Here again, we have our man Zaid, who has been living here a year and a half. We chopped it up, and he was able to share with you some of the experiences and his challenges, having his business here, giving us a little bit more clearer picture of how it is for him, living in amongst the locals, not out there where most who are comfortable where the expats and more affluent people are staying, but right here in the grind, I like to call it, right here amongst the people who
$500 a month.
$500 a month. Does that include rent and food and all expensive?
Yeah, that's rent. That's internet. I got fiber optic internet. I get food delivered.
Yep.
To my, that's rent. That's everything.
He said also, just to go a little back, he said, you got $10,000 that you can invest in the business. That's a good number that you could start off from right here, as long as you had that 10,000 capital to be able to pay 6 months in advance for your employees. Hey, nothing comes easy in this life. And hey, at the spur of the moment, something can change like a COVID. They can change your whole plan before you even knew it. So always having that backup to the backup, just in case. And
they can get in touch with me if they want. I can
I was going to hit you. Yeah. I mean,
you can post it there. Or something.
Unless you want to say it right now, brother, and I still can put it in the description.
Yeah, actually, if you probably see us on Google, you can drop me an email at Matrix Game Lounge at Gmail, or you can send me an email at Mulimu Zaid. That's Mulimu spelled MWU LIM. Man, I can't even spell my MWALIMU Zaid ZAID at gmail.com. Okay. Yeah, you can drop me a line there. I'll check it.
Hey, this brother right here, he reached out to me, and like I said, I knew he was a good guy when I heard him on the phone, because it's just just know the spirit just vibe, and like I said, I was really interested in his story, because he's been out of America for so many years, and then came here to Africa and been here 20 years or so.
Total abroad 16 years.
16 years. Yeah. So hey, got a wealth of information, a lot of things he can share with. Here's another contact, y'all. If you need to go ahead and left us information, rewind the video if you want to go ahead and recap on that. I'm gonna walk out here. Gonna give a show of your place again, real quick. He had a gaming business out here. Basically, it's a beta test to see even
start small.
Yeah, something like he was looking at. How is this gonna take off as far as like a Dave and Buster's? Because you got to give. I call it the spoon feeding people. You know how you do with a little baby. And in order to get the baby to eat the bland vegetables, you got to sometimes put that applesauce over it,
right? So
that it can swallow it and still get the two. So,
and you want to get that network, because Rwanda's going to see you. You connect with people. You meet carpenter. You want to get as basic as you can.
Yeah.
To get those people coming in, make the contacts, and then you build your big business if that's what you're into.
Yeah, and so hey, let me give thanks to those right there who financially gave today. Daniel Francois. Come on, pick back up. All right. So yeah, we got a few with the couches. People can lay back, do some gaming, and then he's consoles right here, the TVs. But like I said, this is like a beta test or a small, test just to see, how people are taking to it, and then introducing something new to a people without coming out of your pocket a lot, and then getting familiar with the locals, creating a brand, and then also building off of that. And so I like what he's got going on. There again, I'm gonna show y'all his how reasonable things are here.
That local
Look at that
right
beer. Beer is 80 cents. Right? Another beer, 70 cents. Skol, that's a popular beer.
Soda, 60 cents.
60 cents.
You can get a hot dog for $1.50.
Yeah. So, he started small. He's got other business ventures, I guess, in other places that he was, like I said, agriculture in Ethiopia. Just doing things there, family. But here again, you want to reach out to our man. He gave you his information. This is just one of the things that he's doing. Been here a year and a half. Gave us a wealth of information today, his experiences and all. So I would just like to say, thank you, brother, for your time.
Sure.
And hey, family, stay up. I might have another live coming today. I think I do owe you one more. But hey, never forget, this is your man, not your boy. Go Black to Africa. Peace and blessing to each and every one of y'all. Y'all enjoy y'all Sunday. Hey, talk to y'all later.